I dated another guy when I was 14 and he was 24, and you can imagine how that went.
You're listening to the Big Sister Complex podcast, the podcast where two big sisters and recovering perfectionists figure out their 20s in real time.
We're exploring the elements of our lives, from building relationships to establishing our early careers, and celebrating all of the imperfections along the way.
Welcome back to the Big Sister Complex podcast. I'm Rilee.
And I'm Chelsea.
We are here to talk about so many fun things today, but before we get into any of it, you guys, we have to talk about our launch weekend.
And the disaster that it was.
It was literally the most chaotic weekend of our lives. It's like we said, life isn't perfect. Embrace life being not perfect. And life was like, hold my beer. It was terrible.
It was a rough week. We took some L's as homeowners.
Yep.
Collectively.
Yeah. So we launched the podcast on June. No, not even in that month yet. May 22nd, a Monday. And the Sunday before, no, actually the Friday before. So Chelsea and I had this whole plan. We were like, we're going to do a cute little photo shoot at my house. We're going to like bake a cake. We're going to write Big Sister Complex Pod on the cake, do like a little photo shoot at my house. Going to be so cute and fun. Friday night, my air conditioning goes out. And if you don't know, we live in Florida and it's May. So like
humid, hot,
awful,
disgusting.
It was not the vibe. And so, yeah, our air conditioning went out. So I texted Chelsea and I was like, hey, my house is like 85 degrees. Like, I super don't want to turn on my oven. And I don't want to like subject you to this. And she and Drew came over actually on Sunday to try to like, what was Drew trying to do?
I think your AC went out before Friday. Because we went to a birthday party on Wednesday and you had no AC.
I don't even... Okay,
your AC was out for almost a full week.
It was out for 6 days.
Yes.
But I think it did go out on Friday because I remember it was like, it was out on the weekend. And then we had someone come out on Monday.
Yes, that's
and
right.
it didn't end up getting fixed till Thursday.
Oh, and then the birthday party was Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay,
yes. So that was the next week.
Yeah.
So anyway, Drew and Chelsea came over. Drew was going to try to like shop vac. I don't know.
Line out. I don't know really what that means.
Chelsea and I were like, whatever, do what you got to do.
We'll be inside. They found some plastic things in there.
Plastic things?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God, I don't want to know. Whatever. Nah, I'm just not going to think about it anyway. So that was unsuccessful. It turned on for like 5 minutes. Like, I think it helped, but there were obviously bigger issues going on with it. So anyway, we knew we weren't going to use the oven. So Chelsea was like, I'll just go to Publix and I'll just get a cake and have them write on it.
I don't know what I was thinking because I was like, oh, they have a whole bunch of cakes and like desserts in their bakery area. I'll just go and pick one out and like I'll just have them write on it. It'll be super cute. It'll be okay. And then I get there and all of the cakes have like flowers on them or balloons, obviously, because it's mostly like birthdays or something like that people get them for. So,
we just thought for some reason that you could just go get like a plain like white frosted cake.
I don't know
you
what
can't.
I was thinking.
At least not at our Publix. And so then Chelsea's like texting me. She's like, all these are so ugly. So she got a cheesecake, which actually worked out great.
It worked out fine.
So she got a cheesecake and like some cute sprinkles, and they wrote it on there in purple. Like a very dark purple. It's not our shade, but you know, we can't. Fine. Beggars can't be choosers.
It wasn't centered, but I'm not going to be upset
we were like,
by it.
It's far from perfect. And that's the point. And we're like, wow, this cake is so on brand with our podcast, just like really trying to make the most out of it. And so
meanwhile, we had a pest control company come out.
Yes. Was that the same day?
A few days previous.
So wait, what day did you text me? Chelsea texted me out of the blue and just said like something died in my house.
I think it was Friday.
It was the same day my AC went out.
It was the same day your AC went out. I think it was Friday. Mm-hmm. Something died. We came home. It was like 3 o'clock, which is like the heat of the day. And it reeked of a dead animal. And I like, it's just such a distinct smell, you know. And I was like, Drew, call the pest guy back out. Because he had just came. He sprayed our duplex. He put like, I don't know.
Because if you guys don't know, Drew and Chelsea own a duplex.
Yes,
and they rent out the other half. Because they are entrepreneurs, house hacking, going to be millionaires by the time they're 40.
I pray one day. But no, so he sealed the house. I don't really know what that means. And then he laid traps in the attic. And we came home Friday to a stinky house. It was so bad. It was so gross. and he couldn't come back out until Monday.
Yeah, because we went to your house on Sunday night.
Yep.
Because, sorry, we're telling the story all over the place.
The chaotic energy of this story matches the chaotic energy of the weekend.
Yes. So here's it chronologically. Friday, something dies in Chelsea's home. My air conditioning goes out. It's 90 degrees outside.
Ugh.
Then Saturday rolls through. Chelsea still has something dead in her house. I still have no air. Sunday comes around. We're trying to prepare for the launch. Chelsea comes over with this crazy cheesecake. We take some photos.
Your warm house. Like, what was I thinking?
The cheesecake literally started like melting while I'm taking pictures of it. We're like, okay, we'll put it back in the container. We'll go over to Chelsea and Drew's house and eat it. Forgot it existed. Never ate it. Anyway, so then we all go back to Drew and Chelsea's house to like escape the heat for a couple hours and just hang out. So we go there, and really it didn't smell that bad when we were there. Like, I noticed a smell because you asked me when I walked in if I could smell it, and it was like, but you'd been burning candles and stuff, like doing what you could.
Well, we both talk about how that's like one of our biggest fears is our house stinking and not knowing it.
But I'm glad we're close enough friends where it's like if you hadn't told me about the dead animal smell, I would have been like, something smells off in here.
Rilee would have been like, what is going on?
I also have a very sensitive nose. It's like one of Michael's pet peeves about me, actually, because it's like I smell every little thing. I'm like, the trash needs to go out.
It's disgusting.
And he's like, it's not full. I'm like, I don't care. I can smell it to get out. Anyway, so we go to their house on Sunday, hang out for a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm going to post our pictures that we just did all this crap to take on Instagram. Instagram's down. For like hours. I don't know if anyone else noticed. We don't have all the
time in the world. We have to schedule these things.
I know. I'm like, I'm trying to go to bed. I'm not trying to do this. Anyway, Instagram comes back up. We post it, whatever. Then Monday comes around and I go to listen to the podcast in the morning. Which I'm not going to get on you because, like, Chelsea does all the editing and uploading, so I can't complain. But I was like, this is not the right podcast.
It didn't have the right edits and whatever. Yeah.
It just missed. So, like, if you listen to episode 1, which I hope you did.
Me too. If not, go back and listen to it. Pause this and then come back.
Also, you probably don't know who we are. Unless you know us personally, if you didn't listen to episode 1. So episode 1, like the first 10 minutes, we introduce ourselves, we talk a little bit about like who we are, blah blah blah. And what happened is when we originally recorded episode 1, we were just so excited to start the podcast, we did not introduce ourselves at all.
Yeah,
we just jumped into the story of like how we met and like became friends eventually. And then we
listened to it back and we were like, this is not we need to explain ourselves.
We're like, who are we didn't even like say our names.
No, we just started talking.
So then we recorded the intro, added it to the front.
Yep.
And that was what was supposed to be uploaded, but when I went to listen to it, it just like jumped right into like our story, and I was like I feel like something's missing. Also, it's like 10 minutes shorter than I remember it being. So luckily, anyway,
it was early in the morning.
Yeah, because we try to upload like, well, Chelsea tries to upload. She's the queen. I can't take any credit. But the goal is for the episodes to be up like in the morning because we're morning people. So it's like for us, if a podcast is coming out on whatever day, like we want it available in the morning when we're like doing our morning routines.
Yeah.
Which you probably just listened to. So yeah, Chelsea got it fixed super fast because she's a boss, so no harm done.
Well, there was a terrible thing that I didn't even tell you about until it all was over.
Oh no!
But I lost the original file that we recorded. It wasn't like, okay, so I had moved everything over to a hard drive because it all started to get to be too much, and I just am stressed about losing things. So I moved it all over to the hard drive, and when I moved everything over, somehow that file did not make it. And then I went through my computer and like was like deleted everything because my computer was getting slower. And somehow the file got deleted. So I had to go back to our text messages to the one that I texted you and pull that out and cut it and blend it into the episode. And I did it. I did it in like 10 minutes and it was fine.
Who would have thought? You're a whiz. So it all worked out. And then Monday, podcast dropped. Super fun. We got some great feedback from people. So thank you. Thanks, if you sent us a nice message. You can always do that.
Yes,
feedback is welcome. And constructive criticism because we're always trying to be better.
But can you just maybe...
But we're fragile. Do the Oreo method, okay?
Please.
Tell me what you love. Like, make it like a really, like, the worst Oreo imaginable where it's like tons of cookies and then just like one little pat of cream. That's all I can handle. Anywho, so Monday rolls through. Great. Tuesday, great. Wednesday, my car breaks down. So I have no air conditioning in my house still. No car. Did you get when did the animal
He didn't
situation
come out until like 3 days ago. So it was still stinky. So it was almost a week of stink.
Yeah, so we both had all this going on for like a complete week.
Yeah, so it was terrible.
So yeah, our car breaks down Wednesday, and as you guys know, Michael and I have one car, which I don't even.
It's okay. Drew and I've been there.
This car.
It's
Michael, I'm sorry if you're listening. Just skip forward because you've heard me complain about this so much. Like, skip the next 12 seconds. I hate this car so much. It is like the bane of my existence. It is my peak point of stress in my life.
Yeah.
Is this stupid Jeep because it has so many issues. We've had it in the shop like 6 times this calendar year. We're not even 6 months into the year.
So
do that math.
So why hasn't Jeep like recalled the vehicle or any of the parts that are in it? Because clearly something's not right.
Okay, here's what happened. The Spark Notes version.
Yeah, let's hear it.
We had to have a repair done in January to the lifters. I don't know what that is, but that's what they were fixing. Mm-hmm. Something in the engine. It's in the shop for like 2 weeks, getting the lifters fixed, whatever. We get it back. It's running super janky. Like, it's like lurching and like doing all this crazy stuff. We take it back. They're like, oh my God, so sorry. Something messed up, or someone messed up your repair, and there's shards of metal all through your engine.
You are lying.
No. That's what happened. And they're like, we're actually surprised you were able to get it here. Because also, the shop we were taking it to was the shop that, like, I don't really know why they go there. But
insurance or something.
Yeah, well, it's just a whole thing. I won't get into all of it. But all you need to know is the shop is, like, an hour away. So we had to keep taking it to these people, like, an hour away. And they did something. So there's shards of metal through the engine. So they had to replace the entire engine, which thank God they were honest about that because we didn't pay anything.
Yeah, good.
But it was like over a month. So we had a rental car for a couple weeks, and they were going to make us start paying for the rental car. So then some of our angel friends who are amazing gave us, like, they have 2 cars. They gave us their second car. So we used that for a couple of weeks. Actually, I think we had their car for like almost a month. So it was like a month and a half that we didn't have our car. So then do that math of how many times this car's been in the shop with us not even having it for like 2 months combined. So we get it back, and then like 2 weeks later, engine light turns back on. Stuff starts going crazy again. We take it back still to the same shop. It's like an hour away. I told Michael to skip 12 seconds. Here I am like 5 minutes on telling this stupid story. So we take it back. They're like, oh, it's like the sensors. They wanted to like charge us to replace the sensors, but it was like, because of the repair that they did, the sensors messed up. So it was like a domino effect. Like things just kept going wrong. And we're like, we're not paying for it because you guys messed it up. Right. Yeah. So we're in like a war with this shop. Michael's like threatening the manager. Just kidding. He's so nice. But like, he's like talking to this manager like every day. They're going back and forth, like, you know, trying to negotiate a deal. So the manager's like, okay, we'll fix one of the sensors. There's 4 of them. He's like, but the other 3 will probably still need to be fixed, and you'll have to pay for those. And we're like, this is so stupid. So fixes one of the sensors. We get the car back, runs for about 2 weeks. Same thing happens. So we take it back again. And I, at this point, had a complete mental breakdown where this is about the time when I got my motorcycle license. Because I was like, forget it. I don't need anyone but myself.
I need freedom.
I need freedom. Meanwhile, I still don't have a motorcycle. But it was a bit of an emotional decision, but it was fun to do, so I'm glad I did it. Anyway, back and forth. We get the car back, and then the engine light turned on probably about a month ago. Mm-hmm. And because I remember I sent you a voice memo crying in my car.
Okay, to be honest, when your car like breaks down, it's like you're driving and then the steering wheel won't let you turn, or it won't let you brake.
Yeah,
or like it won't even
scary
turn on. Like,
stuff.
it's not like, I don't know. It's not like the AC goes out or something livable. It's like you could die.
Yeah, it was scary for me to drive. So then I'd be stressed anytime we had to drive somewhere. Yeah. Because I didn't feel safe driving it. And it's like, it's our only car. And for me, like, security and autonomy are big things for me. Like, I need to know, like, okay, if there's like an asteroid hurtling towards Florida, which at this point wouldn't surprise me at all, I need to be able to at least give myself a fighting chance and get on 75 with everyone else trying to flee. You know what I mean? Because like, but at this point, our car would like not even make it out of our town. So anyway, had a breakdown. We took it back in so many times, whatever. The engine light was on for like a month. And then last week when the AC was out on, I don't remember what day, I think it was Wednesday. Yeah. we tried to go out and start the car, and the car wouldn't start. And it was like glitching, like flashing all these crazy lights. It was saying like, yeah, because so Chelsea kind of started saying this, and then I went on a tangent, shocking, but when it breaks down, it's like the power steering stops working, or like if you use the brakes, then the steering wheel won't turn. Yeah. So like if you're slowing down to turn, it's just like, guys, it's not safe. I'm not being dramatic. And it would like lurch and like it'd like speed up on its own, then slow down on its own. It was terrifying. So it just wouldn't even turn on, which I'm like is probably for the best because I just don't want to drive it anymore. So we had our friend come jumpstart it. Then the next day we tried to start it, wouldn't start, so we had a tow truck come. The tow truck comes, the car starts on its own. So the tow truck guy's like, don't waste your tow, just drive it now. So we left the car running, and then the AC people came to fix our ACs. They parked behind us in the driveway, so we just had the car running on our driveway for like 6 hours, which was fine because I was like, whatever, it's not gonna hurt it, like I don't care at this point. It's just charging the battery, which didn't really need to be charged apparently, but whatever. So I was just happy that the AC guy was there. I was like, this guy's my bestie. He's all I care about right now. He's my sun, my moon, my stars. He's giving me air conditioning. I don't care about anything else. It's like this car can explode right now.
6 hours to fix it?
Yeah, because that's the other thing. The AC people came. They charged us $1,200 for whatever they said it was. And then so there's like a estimator person that comes out and they tell you what's wrong and they charge you. Then they schedule like a tech. Yeah. Then the tech shows up. He's like, that's not what's wrong with it. Like what's wrong with it is this, and it's only $500. Oh. So that was good, but then he didn't bring the right stuff to fix what was actually wrong with it because the person assessed it wrong.
Oh, good Lord.
So it was on Tuesday. So then on Wednesday, he came back, brought the right stuff, refunded us the $700 difference, which was awesome.
That's nice.
But it took a while to fix, and then fixed it, and then we had AC, and I was like, nothing else matters. And then I drove the car to a dealership here in town because I was like, I'm not going back to that shop ever again. I'm going to make like 800 different Gmail accounts and leave them 800 different 1-star Yelp reviews. If you think I'm kidding, I'm not.
She's coming for
I'm coming for you, Perkins. Count your days. And so I took it to the Jeep place and just dropped it off, and then I Ubered home. And then I texted Chelsea and I was like, I'm getting in a car with Frank on the north side of town, so if I die. He was super nice. You know, Uber drivers are awesome. They saved my butt that day. So that was our week.
And then it's back.
No. It's still at the shop because it's Memorial Day weekend right now when we're recording this. So he told me, the guy that took the car, he was like, are you worried about like getting it back this weekend? I was like, no. I was like, you can keep it. I don't even care.
I'm like,
why
don't you just write me a check?
Because we're going car shopping finally this coming weekend. I'm so excited, gosh. You guys. It's going to be the best day of my life. At this point, I'm like, money can buy happiness.
Because it's buying me a new car.
If I get a new car, I will be so happy. Because I'm just, the amount of stress this Jeep has brought me in the last 6 months. And it's also like, this is a fun little story. 2 days before my wedding, my car got totaled.
That was,
So that's just another fun story. One of my bridesmaids was driving to pick up another one of my bridesmaids at the airport. Yeah. She was on I-4 and someone rear-ended her. It was not her fault at all.
In the middle of a huge storm.
Yeah.
It was huge rain.
So I was like at my, not rehearsal dinner, but the day before we had a big dinner with like all of our out-of-town family. Yeah. And I remember Michael came up to me. He's like, I need to see you outside. I was like, who died?
It was like, what's happening?
He was like, it's okay. Everyone's safe, but your car's totaled. And I was like, cool.
Cool. Awesome. Love that.
Yeah. So it honestly was like a blessing in disguise because then like we got like a little check from the car being totaled. So we used that for like house stuff and wedding stuff and whatever. And then we both work from home, or I did at that point. Michael didn't yet, but I worked from home. So we only really needed one car. So it was fine. But now I'm like almost 2 years into only having one car, and it's a car I didn't choose.
That's giving you issues that you don't have half the time.
And I know this is like, guys, you're going to judge me for this. It's orange and I hate it so much. I'm a redhead driving an orange Jeep. It's like, that gives me the ick.
That is rough.
I see myself through other people's eyes. I'm like, they must think I'm the most self-obsessed freaking ginger on the planet.
Well, I love your car. That is orange because I can see you guys on the road. The other day I was like,
true.
oh, look, they're going to Aldi. I was at Chick-fil-A and I saw you guys.
Yeah, that's also kind of annoying, though, because it's like, it's fine when it's you, but it's like...
Everyone knows.
Everyone,
if you get a black Camry, I'm never going to know where you are.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice. I'm going to get the most inconspicuous car ever. And God willing, it's going to be super dependable. And I'm not going to see the inside of a shop for 5 years because I've done my time. Wow, that went on way too long. But that's our chaotic week.
Chaotic week before launch.
Dead animals, no AC, car broke down.
Honestly, we took an L.
But the podcast is out and we're having a great time.
It's our therapy.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be doing it. So it's kind of funny because I feel like we were like, life isn't perfect. It's going to be fine. Just embrace it as it comes. And then life was like, okay.
All right, let's try it.
Let's see if you're really about what you're saying. So we're about it.
We're about it.
We've proved ourselves.
We're excited for you guys to listen to this next episode that we have for you, talking about some of the best and worst dates we have ever been on. And we even hear from you. Some of you guys sent in some of your stories, so we're going to be sharing those as well.
Yeah. Get ready to lose your faith in humanity a little bit and also get it back because some of the dates are good. Today, we asked some people to send us their best and worst dates.
I can't wait to tell these stories.
I'm so excited. I just love hearing people. Maybe I'm toxic. I love bad date stories.
It's just, it makes you feel that secondhand embarrassment that I think might be good for your soul every now and then.
I like it. Say what you want to say. I want to hear your bad date stories. So if you have them, send them my way. It's never too late.
Never too
to
late.
Make my day.
I feel like we should share maybe some of our stories first.
Okay, I have one.
Okay.
Right off the top of my head.
I'm here for this.
Okay, let's see. My worst, I've thought about this a lot because obviously we knew we were going to do this episode, so it's right at the top of my mind. My worst first date, I was in high school, and I was a sophomore and he was a senior, and I loved him. He was in my German class.
First off, you took German.
Yes. For 3 years.
That's on brand.
And I couldn't tell you hardly anything. I know how to say I'm 16 years old because that's how old I was. That's literally it. Anyway, he was in my German class and I loved him. And I was so excited when he asked me on a date. And then it was just a disaster. So here's what happened. He picked me up, took me to way too nice of a restaurant, the nicest restaurant in our town. And I was very uncomfortable because I was I'm literally 15 at this time probably. I was just I don't feel like I should be here. Mm-hmm. And then we went from the really fancy also, it's our first date. He's a senior. He takes me to this really nice restaurant. And I'm awkward, so it's I don't know what to say. So I don't remember having that great of a conversation. And then we go from the really fancy restaurant to the broiest, dumbest movie I've ever seen. I don't even remember what it was, but it was just, bro humor.
Just bad vibes.
Yeah. So then we go from that movie. Also, it was super early. I think we literally went to dinner at 5.
Oh.
So.
Did you have a curfew?
No, it's just the earliest date ever.
Wow.
And so after the movie, we clearly didn't have anything to talk about and didn't know what to do. So he took me to his house to meet his mom on our first date. And
Did you get along with her?
I don't remember. I mean, I'm sure she was fine.
Yeah.
She's a mom,
Yeah. Wow.
All I remember is vaguely a little bit talking to his mom. I remember his dogs, and I was hey, dogs, cool. And we also still at that point had nothing to talk about. I don't even think I sat down at his house. I remember walking through he took me through the garage, and then we went in the kitchen through the garage. I think I stood around for a minute, petted his dogs, and he was well, guess I'll take you home. And I was okay. It was probably 8:30.
Oh no.
And then he took me home and then ended the night with a high five on my doorstep. Just walked me to my door and was just well, and I was well, and then he gave me a high five. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And he knew it was bad because I remember he texted me that night and he was I'm really sorry for high-fiving you. And I was
oh no.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
You just called him out on it.
Yeah. What girl? I'm okay, not a great date, but I would have rather just had nothing.
Yeah.
Or just a hug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The high five was so weird.
You probably made him uncomfortable.
I probably did because I was
intimidated him.
the vibes are not here. And it was so disappointing because I had such a crush on him. Like, I had talked, I remember, like, getting ready with my friends before and being like, oh my gosh, I'm finally going on a date with him. And it was, like, the worst. And then after he texted me, he's like, I really want to make up for how bad that date was. And so then the next day, it was a Friday night, so on Saturday, he picked me up again. And we went ice skating, and it was actually really fun.
Okay.
So the
maybe
second date
he
was
just
good.
liked you a lot and was super nervous.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we didn't ever like officially date, but we went on a few more dates after that. He actually went to prom with me, but just as like friends at that point.
Well,
so it was fine.
Maybe he was nervous.
Yeah, we weren't a match made in heaven, but I did have a huge crush on him. So
the fact that he took
doing
you
well out there,
took you home to meet his mom.
Yeah, that was rough.
Like, what would possess a high school boy to say, oh, I don't have anything left to do with this girl, and it's 8:00 at night. I guess I'll introduce her to my mom.
Yeah, I could have done without that. And then I met his mom subsequent times after that because we went on other dates. And, like, we went, like, I had friends. We'd go over to his house and, like, hang out and have movie nights and stuff. So I saw his mom around after that, but it was always just weird.
I'm sorry. If I have a kid and they bring their date home to meet me and they're home for 15 minutes, I will be roasting him the minute he comes back.
I know.
I just make him feel embarrassed, being like, that is so, like, lame.
Yeah, I was telling Michael this story the other day because I was like, you have to hear about this bad date story I'm going to tell on the podcast. And he was like, okay, whenever our kids are dating age, we need to, like, sit them down and be like, if they say they're going to take someone on a date, be like, what is your plan?
Right. Let's walk through this together. Yeah. Let's think a little bit into the future.
Are you thinking about taking them to an inappropriately nice restaurant and then an Adam Sandler movie and you're 16? Let's not.
Maybe just, like, Chili's.
Yeah. Just get some tacos. Go maybe see a movie that person would like. Yeah. And then don't bring them here.
We don't want to meet them on the first date.
I don't. It was for their sake.
Yeah, that's so
it was rough. Do you have any stories?
It's not necessarily a dating experience as much as it is a bad dating situation.
Right. So, like, not a date specific story.
Right. Okay.
Got it.
So, in high school, I was friends with these twins. And I liked one of them and not the other one. But the brother that I didn't like, they're both brothers. And the brother I didn't like asked me to prom. Just as friends. It was really funny. I was like, okay, fine. So I went to prom with him. But that night, we went like a group of 4 of us. So then that night, so it was like his brother with another girl that they just went as friends. And we were both friends too. So like me and the girl got ready together. And like the 4 of us, this is how nerdy we were. Before prom, it was on a boat. We went.
Prom was on a boat?
Yes, it was on like a. It was the year I planned it because, of course, I was on student council.
That's so cool.
It was so cool. But, you know, I was, like, in a Christian school, so it was no dancing. So prom was a meal.
One of those.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay.
So we were like, well, before we go on the boat, because it was shipping out, like, a city close to us, we were like, let's go to this museum that's there. Like, that's so nerdy we are. We're like, let's go to the museum before prom. Then we go to prom.
The Ringling Museum?
I think it was like Van Gogh.
Oh,
right over there, kind of in by Mosey or something like that.
I don't know.
Whatever. So we go to the museum. We go to prom. Whatever. It's basically all of us friends hanging out. But I'm like with one of the brothers, but wanting to date the other brother.
Right.
And by the end of the night, we end up going to get ice cream, and it's like me and this other brother kind of like hanging out and talking. So I'm like, okay,
so
this
not
is
your
good.
Date.
Not my date.
Okay.
So I started with one brother the day, and I ended the night with the other brother.
Okay.
So it was prom, right? It's the end of the year. Yeah. Summer's coming. I was a junior, so it's like, summer before senior year, we're gonna live it up. So I was like texting this guy, trying to hang out.
Yeah.
And we were texting.
Shooting your shot.
Yeah, of course. He was cute. I liked him. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then just one day he stopped texting me back, and I did not hear from him. And I was also really good friends with his best friend, which wasn't his brother, and I was still friends with his brother too. And I was like,
did his brother know that you liked, like, did the brother that you went to prom with know that you liked his twin?
I don't know.
I feel like he has to, especially it's like they have to talk and know that you're texting him.
I don't think they talked.
Really?
Because I would come hang out, and the brother that I went to prom with, I think he just thought we were all friends hanging out, but me and the other guy were kind of like,
you're like, the rest of you could go and we'd be fine if you weren't here.
But it's okay. He was like one of my closest friends. So it's one of those like, we're good friends, or we're going to cross this line. Right. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, texting during the summer, trying to like talk. We never went on a date. And then I stopped hearing from him. And I was like, where is he? And it was like 2 weeks before school started. And so I was like talking to his best friend. I'm like, have you heard from him? He's like, no, I haven't. I'm like, what happened to this kid? And I get to school and I was like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a few weeks, like beginning of senior year. And he's like, oh, sorry, I lost my phone in the grass.
I'm so sorry. What? I lost my phone in the grass.
I said, oh, okay. Like, did you find it? Did you get a new one? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to text me back? Like, I texted you. And that was just it. He lost his phone in the grass.
That has to go down in the Hall of Fame of, like, good, bad excuses. Like, why you didn't text someone back.
So it's fine. It's
sorry,
fine.
I lost my phone in the grass. Like 2 months ago. I found it that day.
I lost my phone. Sorry. The grass like wiped out all of my messages. Never got it.
Oh boy. Okay.
So,
well, that's pretty rough.
It was rough, but it's okay.
Nice. So should we move on to some of the stories people sent us?
Yeah, because honestly, these are juicy.
I know they're better than ours, if I'm being honest. Okay, I'll start us off with one. The worst date I went on also happens to be the first date I ever went on, which didn't end up actually happening. I was going to go to the movies with this guy. We were going to meet at the theater. I got there and waited for him for like 15 minutes. Oh no, I know where this is going. I went to call him to see where he was, and the call wouldn't go through. I was like, there's no way this man is ghosting me and blocking me right now. So I took a walk of shame and ran out to my car and dipped because I was not to be made a fool. Amen. Turns out, after I left, I got text from him. No. I got text from him that he was in the theater with popcorn and snacks waiting for me and just had no service. The whole thing was so terribly awkward and horrible, and I just never spoke to him again. That's so sad.
It's so funny.
That's so sad.
It's so sad.
I want to find that kid and give him a hug.
Me too. He got popcorn and snacks. Do you know that's like $50?
And then got stood up over a misunderstanding.
The fact to like never talk to him again, being like, oh, I thought you stood me up, so I like went away.
That's rough.
That's tough.
That's really rough. You want to take the next one?
I'll take the next one.
Yeah.
So this guy comes over to my place to pick me up for dinner and to look at Christmas lights. We had decided on sushi for dinner, but he gets there and he says he wants to go to Olive Garden. He asks, who's driving? So of course I'm like, if you want, I can drive, so I drive us there. He sits on the same side of the booth next to me the whole time while we're there, and the whole meal was so awkward. Then he says he wants to watch a movie instead of Christmas lights. We go back to my place, and he puts on a movie, which we watch. Oh my gosh. Then he starts to tickle me because he wanted to kiss me.
No.
He was trying to make it like a flirty tickle, but it was not. I end up having to tell him I need to go to sleep. He leaves. Finally, we never kissed, and I never saw him ever again.
Okay, not the non-consensual same
Tickle.
side of the booth.
Oh gosh,
That's like only acceptable, in my opinion, if you're 60 years old or above.
yeah.
Because like at that point, like you're just soaking up all the time you have. But like before that, I'm like,
sit across from me. Oh,
or if you're like on a double date, obviously,
right?
But I'm like, for a first date, that's a bold move.
I just don't want to be looking at someone sideways while I'm eating dinner.
Awful. Awful vibes. Also, just imagine like you sit down in a booth and he's like, can you scoot?
Yeah,
I feel like, no, sir, I cannot.
Like, nope.
You see that big bench opposite me? That's where you go.
Princesses don't slide.
Amen. Okay, let's go on to our next.
But also, sushi and Christmas lights, that's a great date.
Yeah.
Olive Garden and a movie where you try to tickle me? No.
That's terrible. Okay, this is a short one. Let's see. I met a guy in a dating app, and on our date I was so bored I told him I had to leave because I needed to go to bed and I had a really long skincare routine. I need context. Like, what time are you telling him this? Is it like 9:30? Because like that's acceptable.
That's acceptable.
Is it like 7? Like pushing
How long does it take you to do your skincare?
Is your skincare 2 hours? What time are you going to bed?
To be fair though, do men know how long it takes to do skincare?
Probably not.
No.
So just lean into that, ladies.
Right. Like sometimes my
easy out.
excuse is I have to wash my hair.
Yeah. That's valid, because if you wash, you can't go to bed with wet hair.
Nope.
So it's like, that's an hour.
Wash my hair, blow dry it.
Especially if you're like gonna wash and then like do a mask, you gotta rinse, you gotta put in your heat protectant, blow
all
dry.
The things.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
I had a guy I had been dating for a while that turned out was a bet from his fraternity friends.
No.
To see how quickly they can make someone fall in love with them and propose.
Wait, the guys in the fraternity were trying to see who could make a girl propose? Or like just make a girl fall in love to the point where a proposal would be...
Yeah.
That's evil.
That's really evil. And they probably like, imagine every time they go on a date, he would come home and be like, oh,
that's
to his guys.
Evil.
I just want to hug this girl. I'm so sorry.
Men are the worst.
Okay, this is another short one. I went on another date with a guy who bought my coffee, then expected me to buy her meal.
No.
Okay,
I'm all for like, if it's like you're offering to pay for a meal, here's my thing. Whoever asks the person on the date
pays.
Yes. So it's like, if he asks you on a date and part of that date is coffee, right, he should be prepared to pay for coffee and a meal. Yes. Because that's the date he planned.
Right. This is an unpopular opinion. Okay. But I really think until you're like in a relationship, so you're in just the dating phase, the guy should pay for it.
Okay, hot take.
Yeah, it is. It's not popular, but I just feel like a girl should be pursued. And that's like a guy pursuing her. It's like showing up with coffee at her work, bringing her flowers, planning dates, taking her out and paying for them. And then once you enter into a relationship, like you can't expect a man to pay for it all the time. Like that's just not financially stable. Right. So like once you're dating, then I'm like, I think it's cool just to switch back and forth. Or like if the girl's like, hey, I want to go to Disney, and the guy's like, well, that's not really my budget. Okay, well, I want to go, like, I'll pay. Like, I think that type of stuff
Or even splitting
works.
stuff.
Exactly. Or, like, splitting dinner.
Michael and I split everything when we were dating.
Yes, because it's just kind of like you want to go out to eat together, split it down the middle.
That's what I was most excited for when we got married. I was like, I never want to Venmo you again.
Never.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
I dated someone I met from working at Chick-fil-A. After I went on a missions trip to Africa, he told me he didn't understand why I did that. Then when I served at a summer camp and we were supposed to talk, when we got back, he ghosted me. Up until I showed up at his house, bold, and he said he talked to his mommy and she thinks he's too busy to date anyone.
No.
Not the mommy issues. 2 months later, he was dating someone else and now they're married, expecting their second child. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I just, I think you dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah.
You don't want his mom involved in your relationship.
No. Sounds like he has some mommy stuff he needs to work out, and that's not on you.
Nope.
When I was in high school, I dated my lifelong friend and realized I didn't want to date him anymore, so I asked his sister how I should break up with him. Not the sister.
No.
I wonder how close you are with the sister to be able to
lifelong
do that.
Friend. I'm assuming you're her friend.
It's like, you're probably friends, but it's like, you'd have to be really close, because I'm thinking like, I have brothers, and if anyone came to me and was like, I'm gonna break up with your brother, right, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I have to tell him that, like, I'm not just like
you need to do it in the next 12 minutes before I do.
You think about that, like if someone came up, if like your sister was dating someone, he's like, how should I break up with your sister? You'd be like, I don't care how, but do it immediately if you're thinking about it, because that's rude.
That's rude. Oh,
that's rough. Savage move on your part, but gotta do it sometimes.
Gotta do it. I dated another guy when I was 14 and he was 24, and you can imagine how that went.
Jail.
Literal jail. That's ew. That's so gross.
That's so gross. On the guy's part, not on yours, obviously.
Oh my gosh. First off, if you are 24 years old, why does a 14's probably middle school, early high school?
I'd say freshman.
If you're 24 years old, what are you thinking? Like, oh, let me go to the local high school and what?
Okay, I will say I had a similar experience when I was in high school. I think I was a sophomore. Okay. And I was friends with a lot of seniors. Okay. And there was a guy who was a freshman in college who asked me on a date. Okay. And the senior friends that I was with knew him because he had graduated the year before. And they had like an intervention with me because I was so excited about the date. And they were like, Rilee, they're like, no offense, you're amazing. But like, if a college guy is asking out a high school freshman or sophomore, right, it's not because he likes you. No. It's because he can't get anyone his own age and like the girls that he knows know his red flags and you don't, and that's why he's interested in you. And I like broke my heart a little because I was like, I thought I was just like so cool and desirable, and they're like, you are, but that's not the case
but
here.
That's not it.
And I was really mad at them.
Okay, Rilee, but that's a 3-year age gap. This is a 10-year age gap.
Yeah, that's
at 24.
So I shouldn't say something similar, but it was like high school to college.
Yeah,
but that's
like
true. Early high school to like out of college.
You're out of college. You should be working a full-time job. Like your life. Why would you want to go back to high school?
There is no reason ever for like a grown man like that to go after. Like the only reason you're doing that is because you know, sorry, but like something's wrong with you. Yeah. And like you can't trick the girls your age. Because think about like how much you learn. Think about the way that you thought about yourself as a high school girl. Yeah. And the way you think about yourself now as like a woman. And I feel like I'm still like, I feel like you don't develop your sense of self and like your self-confidence and your self-worth until like well into your 20s. Yep. Like, I think that's why a lot of people say you shouldn't get married until you're like late 20s, early 30s. I get that because it's like you
want to be fully yourself.
Need to know who you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, neither of us.
I mean, if I was 14 and if I was 14 and this guy, like, I would have been interested because I would have thought it said a lot about me.
Yes, exactly.
And that's like preying on a child.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I must be so mature and like interesting and cool. And it's like, no, he's
creepy,
sick. Okay, I need something light after that. That made me feel icky.
All right, well, I don't know about light.
Okay, great.
I met one of my college boyfriends because my sorority sister brought him to our date function. Our energy was electric, so when he left with me instead of her, we dated for 6 months afterwards. I don't feel like that's too terrible, honestly. Because we both were in sororities. Yeah. I did date functions all the time. Guys that came with us, like, I wasn't necessarily dating them. Yeah. And so if they hit it off with someone else.
I never went to a high school. Oh, no, that's not true. But I rarely went to high school dances with like a boyfriend. It was always with like my guy friends. Yeah. I feel like that's fine.
I feel like that's okay.
Depends, I guess, on how close you are with the sorority sister. Yeah. If she really cares. Okay. I've read this one already.
Me too.
This is like the plot of a Nicholas Sparks movie, you guys.
Insane.
So just close your eyes. Picture yourself in like North Carolina or wherever all of his books are set, except this actually takes place in Georgia. So close enough. Okay.
Here we go.
I dated a guy on and off again every time I went to Georgia for like 5 years. My grandma hooked us up because she liked his truck and thought I would too. And I did. So every time I came to town, he would pick me up after dinner and we would drive around all night, sometimes literally until the sun came up. We had this agreement that we would only talk whenever I was in town, and that's the only time we would date. One afternoon, his mom called me that he got in a car accident, and that was 2 weeks before I went up to see him again. That's like the definition of like a summer romance. Like you're only together when you're like visiting your grandma in Georgia.
Yeah. First off, go grandma.
Yeah. Pop off, matchmaker G-Ma.
I'm just picturing like a baby blue vintage truck. Yeah. You're driving through like cornfields.
I'm picturing the actual guy that played Miley Cyrus's boyfriend in the Hannah Montana movie.
Yeah. I feel like that no one knows about this, the secretiveness of something like that, the only when we're in town makes it a very like attractive type of relationship.
Yeah, listening to like
for
old
5
country.
years.
That's a long time. 5 years on and off.
On and off.
I hope he was okay in his car accident.
Me too. She didn't say.
I feel like she would have said if it was tragic. Yeah. If it was like, and then I went to his funeral.
Oh gosh,
that'd be dark.
That would be very dark.
Okay, is that all of our bad stories?
Those are all the bad ones.
All right, none of those were like too terrible. They're okay. Some were pretty.
Some were pretty bad, but you know, I think it's mostly just the awkwardness of dating.
Yes, dating is terrible.
I'm so glad we don't have to do that anymore.
Amen. All right. Do you have any good date stories you want to share?
I do.
Okay, take it away.
So it's my senior year in college. Mm-hmm. And this guy that I'm really good friends with asked me out on a date. We're like best friends. I was not super interested, but I decided to give him a shot. And so we meet early Saturday morning at his work because he wanted to pick up a check so he'd have money for the date. And his check was all like $85 because college.
Yeah.
And he took me to the farmer's market we have downtown, which in retrospect, I don't know why we went there because I didn't want him to pick me up from my house because I didn't want any of my friends knowing I was hanging out with him, because I just didn't want to have to answer to them.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to test the waters myself, because when you tell your friends, it just is like real and they ask all these questions. I just didn't want to deal with that.
Especially when it's like a friend that you have, because then they're like, what happens if it doesn't work out and all stuff, and you're like, let me just
figure it out.
I just want to go on one date.
Yeah. So anyways, we're walking around the farmer's market in our city, which is silly because everyone like could see us there.
Yeah.
That's fine. We get a cruffin. He lets me pick the flavor, so big win.
Nice. What flavor did you get?
Something dark chocolate, of course, because I love chocolate. Split a cruffin, and then we're like, okay, we have a lot of homework to do because we're seniors in college. So we drive to Tampa and we go to my favorite coffee shop, and we spend like the entire morning doing homework, which we're both type 1, so it just makes sense. You have to like do your work before you have fun.
Yes.
And it is kind of fun doing homework next to someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
We did homework all day. We went to Taco Bell for lunch, of course. And then we were like, let's go watch the sunset on the beach. Like, we can drive there in time for the sunset. So, like, sitting on the beach, we're like talking, the sun setting. We've talked there for a while. And he like leans in to kiss me. And right when he kisses me, a raindrop hits my cheek.
No way.
And it starts like pouring rain, and we laugh. We like run to the car. We're like soaking wet, and we just drive home. And we're like, okay, like, I guess like this is it. And I just felt like my fairy tale date.
And who is that man?
That man is now my husband. The father of my child.
Gotta be. With a date like that.
Best date. So I did get my fairy tale ending.
I love that. That's so cute.
It was beautiful. It was everything that we are. So it wasn't this like grand romance story. I mean, we had Taco Bell at our wedding. Yeah. It was just beautiful.
Yeah. Michael and I's first date, it was on a Sunday, and it was after church. And we went to Spice to get Thai food.
Classic.
Which we also had at our wedding. And then we went to Hyde Park in Tampa. Yeah. And we just walked around. We went to Buddy Brew, got coffee. And we were walking down the sidewalk, and some woman like stepped out in front of us with a camera, like a full like DSLR. Oh, no. And started taking our picture. And we were like shocked, because like that's just such a weird, like, unless you're a celebrity, like why is someone just taking my picture? And I was like, do they think we're someone we're not? Like, is this... It's like, but we don't look... Neither of us look like anyone famous. So I was like, just confused. And we never got any explanation for it.
She just ran away, or did you ask her?
She just walked away. And I was so stunned. I was like, okay. And so we laugh about it all the time. And then we went and we walked around West Elm. And we like played this game, which we still play all the time. Where we're like, okay, you have $1,000. Oh, like, fun. Go pick out all your like kitchen stuff, or like your favorite like bedroom stuff. And obviously we don't have $1,000 and we don't buy anything, but we just imagine. And then we got, let's see, what else did we do?
I just want to say that that's really cute that you guys went and dreamt together. Yeah. Because it's like a really cute insight to who the person is. But then it's also like you're secretively like dreaming, like, what would we have?
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun because we got to really like learn each other's personalities and our like style. Yeah. It was just a really fun first date. I don't even remember what happened after that. I'm sure I do remember. I don't remember what we ate for dinner or anything. This is the weirdest thing. I have no idea why we did this, but we came back to our town. We went to his apartment and we watched Silence of the Lambs.
What?
I don't know why.
That is intense.
I do not know why. It was just like we were looking for something to watch. Yeah. And an excuse to hang out. I don't know why we picked that.
You guys just wanted to continue the date.
Yeah. It was a long date. It was from like...
That's like a whole afternoon.
I probably didn't go home till like 11:30 after the movie. But yeah, and I married him, so...
You married him.
It worked out. Good first date stories.
I love that.
We only got one, if that tells you anything about how people are doing out there. How all of our dating friends are doing.
They're not doing well.
We got one good story, so...
They need help.
Our condolences to all you guys out there. All right. Back in college, I was talking to this guy who I had a really big crush on. He was super artsy and was a musician, which is a big win in my book. He took me on a date to get our film developed together, cute, which I absolutely loved. It was a unique and fun date, which I prefer over the typical dinner or drinks vibe. Afterwards, we sipped boba while making a combined Spotify playlist together. Although I cringe at the playlist now, it was a fun and creative way to continue getting to know each other through something we both loved. To top off the whole date, we ended the night by getting on a boat ride together. My younger self literally felt like I was in a movie. I didn't end up working out, but he sure knew how to plan a date.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds really cute. Getting film developed, going on a boat.
Talk about knowing your audience. Like, he knew her vibe.
Yeah, that's like a lot of effort to go into a date.
Yeah. Spotify playlist, that really lets someone into your soul.
I don't even think Michael and I have a shared. Actually, we have one that we use at Christmas. We both just put our favorite Christmas songs on.
But to have to like talk about your favorite music or artist, I feel like that very much lets you into who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Wow. And then a boat. Did he have the boat? Is he rich?
I think they just went on like a church, like, you know.
Oh, okay.
Like those little boat rides you can do probably out in like Tampa or somewhere.
But I think he would have to be rich if he was just like, let's go hop on a boat.
I don't know. We should look into it. And if it's not expensive, we should do it.
Maybe we should go on a boat later today.
The day is young. I've got no plans after this.
No plans.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to our best and worst date stories. We're going to go get on a boat.
Yep. Live our best life.
Make sure that you tune in to our next episode. It's going to be every Monday. We're so excited to be sharing with you guys.
If you've listened this far, we would just love if you would give us a rating. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, give us however many stars. I would say 5 because I feel like this is a 5-star production made just for you. It really helps us share our podcast with all of the struggling perfectionist girlies out there.
Yes.
We know there's a lot of them.
Yes. And I feel like we did well today because if you guys want to glimpse behind the curtain, we're new at podcasting.
Yep.
And nothing goes as planned ever.
Ever.
So we're just doing the best we can. We're honored that you're spending your time with us listening to Big Sister Complex. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.